she still set 3 plates on the table, even though her husband had been gone for 8 years. 2 children noticed before anyone else that their mother was disappearing. So they bought her a single theater ticket for Christmas. They thought it would make her smile again. They never imagined the lead actor would be the man they buried. If you enjoy stories that feel real, honest, and hopeful, you're in the right place. Subscribe to support the channel and help stories like this reach the people who need them most. Some people don't fall apart loudly. They fall apart quietly, in kitchens, in bedrooms, in moments no one sees. She wanted to stop. She wanted to rest. But she couldn't, because she was a mother, and giving up was never an option. This is a story about hope and love that refused to let go. It all started when Mia and Milo were hiding under the kitchen table with a flashlight and a notebook, whispering so quietly that even their dog, Rusty, couldn't hear them. And Rusty could hear everything. Rusty had ears like satellite dishes that picked up anything, like when their mom opened a bag of chips 3 rooms away. Mia clicked the flashlight once, then aimed it at the notebook. She tried to steady her hand. "Operation Make Mom Happy starts now," Mia whispered. She wrote the words at the top of the page in her neatest handwriting, which wasn't very neat, because she was writing upside down while trying not to bump her head on the underside of the table. "We need a plan," Milo whispered back. He pushed his glasses up his nose the way he always did when he was thinking about something serious. "A plan so good," Milo added, "that Mom stops being sad all the time." Their mom, Elena Park, was the best mom in the world. That's what Mia and Milo believed, and they told her about 700 times a day. But she was also the saddest mom in the world. Ever since their dad died 8 years ago, the twins had been babies back then, too small to really remember him, except for pictures and the stories Elena told when she thought they were asleep. But the twins weren't asleep. They were pretending. Elena worked 2 jobs. One job was at the library during the day, helping people find books. The other job was at night, doing bookkeeping for small businesses, staring at computer screens full of numbers until her eyes got tired. And when she rubbed them, she sometimes left mascara smudges under her eyes. It made her look like a sad raccoon. Elena never went anywhere fun. She never talked to other grown-ups unless it was work. And she definitely never, ever went on dates. Even though their Aunt Rena kept trying to set her up with random men, who were probably serial killers, based on Aunt Rena's terrible judgment about everything. Mia and Milo watched their mom get smaller and quieter every year, like she was slowly disappearing into her sadness. And they were done with it. 8 years was long enough to be sad. It was time for Mom to be happy again. "We need to make Mom do something fun," Mia whispered, tapping her pencil against the notebook. "Like go to a party," she said, "or a concert, or a play." "A play," Milo interrupted fast, like the idea had been waiting in his head for days. His eyes lit up the way they always did when he had what he called a brilliant idea. "Remember last month," he whispered, "when our class went on that field trip to the theater?" Mia nodded. "And we saw that play about the talking animals?" Milo continued. "Mom loves plays. She's always reading those old playbooks with the weird language." "Shakespeare," Mia whispered, because she actually listened in English class, unlike some people. "Yeah," Milo said. "That guy. We should take her to see a play for Christmas." Milo was getting excited now, bouncing a little. The whole table shook. "But plays cost money," Mia said quickly. Mia was the practical twin. She remembered things like how money worked and why you couldn't just take it from Mom's purse without asking. "We have our savings," Milo whispered. He pulled out a jar from his backpack. It clinked with coins. It had exactly $47.32. They'd saved it from allowances and birthday money. And from the time Milo found a $20 bill in the grocery store parking lot and spent 3 whole days trying to find who lost it before Elena finally said he could keep it. "That's not enough for 3 tickets to a fancy play," Mia whispered, already doing the math. "Tickets are like $50 each." They sat in silence for a moment, thinking hard. Rusty's tail thumped against Mia's leg, like he was cheering them on. Then Milo said slowly, "What if we don't go to the play with her?" Mia blinked. "What? What if we just buy 1 ticket for Mom?" Milo said, "and make her go by herself?" Mia's face tightened right away. "Mom would never go by herself," she said. "She'd say it's too expensive, or she's too tired, or she has work, or one of her million excuses for why she can't do anything fun." "Then we trick her," Milo whispered. His eyes got that sparkle. That sparkle meant Milo was about to suggest something that would either work perfectly or get them grounded for a month. We tell her it's for us, Milo said. We say our school is doing a special thing where parents have to go watch a play and answer questions about it for our homework. Mia's mouth fell open. That's genius. I know, Milo said quickly, then hesitated. But it's also kind of a lie. It's a good lie, he added, like he needed to convince himself. A lie to make someone happy. That's different from a bad lie. Mia narrowed her eyes. Like when you told mom that Rusty ate your homework when really you forgot to do your homework. That was one time, Milo whispered, offended. And I said I was sorry. Mia huffed. Can we focus, please? They wrote down the plan in the notebook, adding details and ideas. Heads bent together under the table. They were so deep into it, they didn't notice Elena standing in the kitchen doorway. She was holding a laundry basket and watching them with a small smile. What are you two doing under there? Elena asked. Both kids jumped so hard they hit their heads on the table with identical thunk sounds. Nothing, they yelled together. It was the least convincing thing possible, because yelling nothing always meant something. We're just talking, Mia added fast. About school stuff, Milo said right after her. Very boring school stuff, Milo added, trying to sound casual. That you wouldn't be interested in. Elena raised one eyebrow. That eyebrow was her superpower. It meant she didn't believe them, but she wasn't going to push it right now. Well, Elena said, when you're done with your very boring school stuff, dinner's in 20 minutes. Wash your hands. She walked away. The twins waited exactly 30 seconds before whispering again, faster this time, because they'd almost been caught. Over the next week, Mia and Milo worked on their plan with the focus of tiny generals preparing for war. Their teacher, Mr. Phelps, told them they should apply that focus to their actual schoolwork instead of whatever schemes they were cooking up. The twins researched plays happening in their city during Christmas week. It was harder than they expected because there were like a million plays happening, and they all had weird names. Some were called A Doll's House and Waiting for God. Something, and those sounded extremely boring. Nothing like the fun play they'd seen on their field trip. We need something Mom would actually like, Mia whispered, scrolling through the library computer during their after-school time. Elena was shelving books in the mystery section. Something with romance, Mia whispered, because Mom reads those books with the kissing people on the covers. Gross, Milo said, making a face. Love is not gross, Mia argued. It's beautiful. She sounded exactly like Aunt Rena, which was honestly terrifying. Love is okay, I guess, Milo admitted, but kissing is definitely gross. You'll change your mind when you're older. I will not. They were getting off track, like they always did, because twins arguing was basically their normal way of breathing. Mia forced herself to focus again. She clicked through website after website until she found it. If you're loving this story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Like, share, drop a comment, and let us know where you're watching from. A special Christmas production called The Winter's Tale, playing at the Riverside Theater, the fancy one downtown with the red velvet seats. The description said something about lost love and reunions and happy endings. It sounded perfect, even though Mia had no idea what the play was actually about. Perfect, she whispered. Then she checked the price and winced. $65 for one ticket. Milo counted on his fingers, even though he didn't need to. We only have $47.32, he whispered. We need $17.68 more. They looked at each other. One of those twin telepathy moments hit. Extra chores, they said together. What followed was the most intense week of chore doing in the history of the Park household. Mia and Milo volunteered for everything. Even things they normally avoided, like cleaning the bathroom and taking out the garbage and organizing Elena's scary closet that hadn't been organized since probably the year 2000. Based on the stuff they found in there, Mia wouldn't be shocked if dinosaurs had lived in that closet. Why are you two being so helpful? Elena asked suspiciously after the fourth day of the twins fighting over who got to vacuum. We're just being good kids, Mia said innocently. Yeah, Milo added too fast. Very good kids who deserve extra allowance. That was the whole point, but he wasn't supposed to say it. Smooth, Milo, Mia muttered. What? Milo whispered back. I'm being efficient. By December 20th, they had exactly $68.15. It was almost enough. Almost. Except for the stupid service fee the ticket website added at the last minute. The total became $71.90. They were short $3.75. Mia stared at the screen like it had personally betrayed her. Milo groaned. We're so close. We could ask Aunt Rena for money, Milo suggested. No, Mia said immediately. Aunt Rena can't keep a secret. She'd tell Mom right away and ruin everything. We could sell some of our toys, Milo said. Our toys aren't worth $3, Mia snapped. Remember when we tried to have that yard sale and made like 50 cents? They were stuck. They sat on Mia's bed surrounded by crumpled dollar bills and coins, so close to their goal, but not close enough. Then Rusty trotted in. He had something in his mouth. Rusty, drop it, Mia commanded. Rusty obeyed like the good dog he was. A crumpled $5 bill fell onto the floor. Where did you get that? Both twins shouted at the same time. Rusty just wagged his tail, looking pleased with himself, like he'd solved a hard math problem. They never figured out where the money came from. Maybe it was a Christmas miracle. Maybe Rusty stole it from somewhere. Either way, they had their ticket money. That's what mattered. Mia bought the ticket online using Elena's computer while Elena was at her night job. Mia's hands were shaking with excitement and nerves because she'd never bought anything online before. She kept thinking she'd click the wrong button and accidentally buy the wrong ticket or 12 tickets or something. But it worked. The confirmation email arrived. Phase 1 of Operation Make Mom Happy was complete. Phase 2 was trickier. Now they had to convince Mom she needed new clothes for this fake school assignment, without making her suspicious. This was basically impossible. Their mom had a PhD in suspicion. She could detect a lie from 3 miles away. Mom, Mia started at breakfast 2 days before Christmas. She used her sweetest voice, the one that usually meant she wanted something. Yes, honey, Elena said. She was eating toast and reading a book at the same time, which was her special talent. Our school is doing this special thing for the holidays, Mia said. Elena's eyes lifted slowly. What kind of special thing? Elena's suspicion radar was already pinging. It's like a cultural education experience, Milo jumped in, using big words he'd learned from Mr. Phelps. We have to send our parents to watch a play, he continued, and then answer questions about it for extra credit. Elena set down her book. She looked at both twins with narrowed eyes. Your school is making parents go to plays? She asked. That doesn't sound like something Principal Hill would approve. It's a new program, Mia said quickly. For enrichment. Elena's eyes narrowed even more. And why do I need new clothes for this? Because it's at a fancy theater, Milo said, and you can't wear your work clothes. That part was true. Elena's work clothes were mostly old jeans and sweaters with coffee stains. You need to look nice, Milo added. Please, Mom, Mia said, leaning in like this was life or death. It's for our education. The word education hit Elena like a magic spell. She would do anything for her kids' education. Elena sighed. Fine, she said. But we're going to the outlet mall, not expensive stores. The twins cheered and high-fived under the table where she couldn't see. Operation Make Mom Happy moved into the next phase, shopping trip chaos. The outlet mall on December 22nd was basically what Mia imagined war looked like. Crowds of people pushing and shoving. Kids screaming. Adults fighting over parking spaces like their lives depended on it. And somewhere, someone was blasting Christmas music so loud it felt like an attack. I hate shopping, Elena muttered as they walked through the doors. Sale signs were everywhere, screaming discounts and deals that probably weren't even real deals. It was just regular prices with bigger numbers crossed out to trick people. It'll be fun, Mom, Mia said with fake excitement, grabbing her mom's hand and pulling her toward the women's section. Milo ran ahead like he was on a mission, which he was. They only had 1 hour before Elena had to get back to the library to help with emergency book sorting. It wasn't an emergency, but Elena's co-worker was dramatic about everything. We need to find you something beautiful, Milo announced, stopping in front of a rack of dresses that looked expensive and fancy and nothing like what Elena normally wore. I'm not wearing a dress, Elena said immediately. Dresses are for fancy occasions. This is just a school play thing, right? I can wear nice pants and a sweater. No. Both twins yelled at the same time. Several shoppers turned to stare. I mean, Mia lowered her voice fast. This is a really fancy theater, Mom. Everyone dresses up. We looked at pictures online, Milo added. People wear dresses and suits and everything. Elena stared at them, suspicious again, because that was her default setting with her children. Why do I feel like you two are up to something? She asked. We're always up to something, Milo said honestly. But this time it's something good, he added quickly. We just want you to look nice, Mom, Mia said. You never dress up anymore. You used to dress up all the time before Dad died. Milo said it without thinking. Mia shot him a look that said, too far. But it worked. Elena's face softened. Sad and tired and resigned. Fine, she said quietly. One dress. Something simple. Not too expensive. We have 30 minutes. What followed was the most chaotic shopping experience of Mia's entire 8 years of life. Mia and Milo pulled dresses off racks and held them up. Elena rejected almost all of them. Too young. Too tight. Too low cut. Too expensive. Too everything. Mia held up a blue dress. This one. Too fancy. Milo held up a red dress with sparkles. This one. Too sparkly, Elena said. I'm not a disco ball. Mia tried a green one. Too bright, Elena said. I'll look like a Christmas tree. That's the point, Milo blurted. It's Christmas. They were running out of time and options. Then Mia spotted it. A simple burgundy dress hanging at the end of a rack like it had been waiting for them. Long sleeves. Flowing skirt. A neckline that was pretty but not too low. Fancy, but not too fancy. The kind of dress that said, I'm an adult who has her life together. Mom, Mia said, grabbing it carefully, this one. Elena stopped walking. Actually stopped. She looked at it. And for a second, something flashed across her face. Maybe memory. Maybe surprise. Maybe the shock of realizing her kid found something that wasn't completely terrible. That's actually nice, Elena admitted. Try it on. Both twins demanded at the same time. Elena took the dress into the fitting room. Mia and Milo waited outside, bouncing nervously. This had to work. This had to be the dress. They were running out of time, and Elena was getting more suspicious by the minute. Then the fitting room door opened. Elena stepped out. Mia and Milo gasped. Their mom looked beautiful. Not mom beautiful. Like movie star beautiful. Her dark hair fell around her shoulders. The dress fit perfectly. It made her look younger. Happier. Like a person who existed outside of being a mom and working 2 jobs and being tired. You look like a princess, Milo breathed. Mia swallowed hard and said something that made Elena's eyes turn shiny. You look like Dad would have thought you were the most beautiful person in the world. Mia instantly regretted it. Elena blinked fast. Sorry, Mia whispered. I didn't mean to make you sad. I'm not sad, Elena said, but her voice was thick. I haven't dressed up in so long. I forgot what it felt like. Elena turned toward the mirror, touching the dress carefully. Your dad would have liked this, she whispered. He always said burgundy was my color. The twins looked at each other. Their plan was working. They were going to make Mom happy for Christmas. And it was going to be perfect. We're getting the dress, Mia announced. But sweetie, Elena started, it's $70. We'll split it, Milo interrupted fast. We'll pay for half with our chore money. Please, Mom, Mia said, using her most convincing voice. Consider it our Christmas present to you. Elena frowned. But your Christmas present is supposed to be the art supplies you've been begging for. We changed our minds, Mia said firmly. We want to give you this. Elena looked at the twins, then back at the mirror, then at the price tag. For a moment, Mia was sure she'd say no. That Elena would put it back. That the whole plan would fall apart right here. Then Elena said quietly, okay, we'll get the dress. The twins cheered so loud a security guard looked over to make sure everything was okay. And Mia thought her heart might actually explode from happiness, relief, and the pressure of keeping this giant secret. Christmas Eve arrived without asking if anyone was ready. Snow fell in slow, patient sheets outside the windows, softening the edges of the world. The street looked quieter than usual. Like even the cars had decided to slow down out of respect for something fragile. Ella woke before her alarm. She lay there staring at the ceiling, heart beating too fast for how still the room was. Her stomach felt tight, like she'd swallowed something too big. Across the room, Ethan was already awake. You too, she whispered. He nodded. I tried to sleep. I really did. Ella sat up, pulling the blanket around her shoulders. I keep thinking, what if this is wrong? Ethan didn't answer right away. That scared her. Finally, he said, what if doing nothing is worse? They didn't say anything after that. Downstairs, Lena stood in the kitchen in her pajamas, staring at the coffee maker like it had personally offended her. Her hair was pulled back loosely, the way it always was when she wasn't going anywhere important. She looked tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kids stepped into the room quietly. Morning, Ethan said. Lena turned and smiled. It was gentle. Practiced. Morning, my loves. She hesitated, then took a breath. I've been thinking about tonight. Ella's chest tightened. I don't think I should go, Lena said. The words dropped into the room like something heavy. What? Ethan said too quickly. It's Christmas Eve, Lena continued, rubbing her hands together. We should be together. Baking cookies. Watching something silly. Not me alone at a theater. Ella felt panic rise up her throat. But the assignment, she started. I know, Lena said softly. But maybe I can write an essay instead. About family. Ethan stepped forward without thinking. Mr. Hollis said it had to be in person. It was a lie, and it sat between them like broken glass. Lena studied their faces. Really looked. You two are being very serious about this, she said. Ella forced herself to breathe. It's important. There was a long pause. Then Lena sighed. Okay, she said. I'll go. Ella's knees nearly gave out. Relief crashed into guilt so hard it made her dizzy. The day crawled. Time moved wrong. Too slow, then too fast. They helped Aunt Carol bake cookies, though none of them tasted like anything. Ella kept checking the clock, her chest tight every time a minute passed. At 5 o'clock, Aunt Carol drove them home so they could see their mom before she left. Lena stood in her bedroom, the burgundy dress hanging in her hands like it was something unfamiliar. I feel silly, she said quietly. You look beautiful, Ethan said, and this time his voice shook. Lena smiled, but her eyes were wet. I used to dress up, she said. I forgot what that felt like. Ella hugged her tightly, pressing her face into the fabric of the dress. Have fun, she whispered. Please. Lena kissed the tops of their heads. I love you both more than anything. Then she left. The sound of the door closing echoed through the house. Ella ran to the window just in time to see the taillights disappear into the snowy evening. Her heart felt like it was being pulled in two directions. Hope, fear, and something else she couldn't name. The Riverside Theater glowed against the night like it didn't belong to the real world. Old brick, bright lights, people dressed in coats that looked expensive. Aunt Carol dropped them near the side entrance. Back row, balcony, she reminded them. Call me when it's over. They slipped inside, hearts pounding. The smell hit first. Old wood, dust, something warm and familiar. Ella's hands shook as they climbed the stairs. They reached the balcony just as the lights began to dim. Ethan scanned the crowd. There, he whispered. Lena sat 5 rows from the front. Alone. Ella's throat tightened. For a moment, she wondered if they'd made a mistake. If sending her here alone was cruel. The curtain rose. Music filled the theater. And then a man stepped onto the stage. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair touched with gray. Ella's breath caught so hard it hurt. She had seen that face before. Not clearly, but enough. In photographs on the mantel. In one old video on their mom's phone. In dreams she didn't know were memories. Ethan grabbed her arm. Ella, he whispered. That looks like, I know, she said. The man spoke. His voice rolled through the theater, deep and steady. Something inside Ella broke open. That's not possible, Ethan whispered. Dad is dead. But the way the man moved, the way he rubbed his chin while thinking, the way he stood. Ella's eyes filled with tears. They watched in silence, barely breathing. At intermission, the lights came up. Lena laughed softly at something the woman beside her said. She looked lighter, completely unaware. Ethan leaned close. We have to be sure. Ella nodded. We wait. The second act began. The man returned as a different character, a shepherd, speaking about love, about memory. Then his eyes swept the crowd and landed on Lena. He froze. Time fractured. Lena leaned forward. Her program slipped from her hands. Ella felt her heart stop. The man's hand went to his chest. He staggered, just slightly. Lena stared at him like she was afraid to blink. The curtain fell. Applause erupted. Lena stood, shaking, and then she screamed a name she hadn't spoken out loud in 8 years. Daniel. The theater went silent. Ella felt her knees weaken, because in that moment, hope wasn't quiet anymore. It was screaming. If this story is pulling at something inside you, if you believe hope can survive even deep pain, please subscribe to the channel. It helps stories like this find the people who need them. For a moment, no one in the theater moved. The name Lena screamed didn't belong there. It didn't belong on a stage. It didn't belong in a room full of strangers. It belonged to a life that had ended 8 years ago. Ethan felt his ears ring. Did Mom just say Dad's name? He whispered. Ella couldn't answer. Her chest felt tight, like the air had been pulled out of the room. She watched her mother standing in the aisle, frozen, one hand pressed to her mouth, staring at the stage like she was afraid the man might disappear if she blinked. The man stepped back into the light. He wasn't part of the play anymore. Not really. The curtain had already fallen, the story supposedly over. But he stood there anyway, pale, confused, looking like someone who had been pulled out of a dream and dropped into a nightmare. "Daniel," Lena said again. Her voice cracked this time. People began to murmur. Heads turned. Someone laughed nervously, thinking this was part of the show. It wasn't. "I'm sorry," the man said, shaking his head. I think you have the wrong person." His voice shook. His hands trembled at his sides. "My name is Mark Reynolds." "No," Lena said, stepping forward. Her legs looked unsteady, but she didn't stop. "Your name is Daniel Parker. You're my husband." The word husband hit the room like a dropped plate. Gasps rippled through the audience. Mark took a step back. "I don't know you." Lena laughed once, sharp and broken. "You called me from the car 8 years ago. You said you were bringing home Chinese food. You never made it." Ella felt tears spill down her cheeks. "This isn't possible," Mark said. "I woke up in a hospital with no memory. No name. A family took me in. They gave me a life. You disappeared," Lena said. "They found your car. There was a body. We buried someone." Mark's face drained of color. Ethan couldn't stay still anymore. "That's our dad," he shouted from the aisle, pointing. "We've seen the pictures." Mark looked at him. Really looked. Something flickered across his face. "You have a scar," Lena said quickly, desperate now. "Right here." She touched her own forehead. "From when you fell off your bike. You hate strawberries. You can't whistle. You have a birthmark shaped like Michigan." Each word landed like a blow. Mark's hand flew to his forehead. "How do you know that?" he whispered. "Because I'm your wife," Lena said, tears streaming freely now. "And those are your children." Ella stepped forward, her legs shaking. "We didn't know," she said. "We just wanted Mom to be happy." Mark stared at them. "I dream about babies," he said quietly. "2 of them. Crying. Every night." Ethan sobbed. "That was us." The theater had gone completely silent. Someone whispered, "This is better than the play." Lena climbed onto the stage, helped by hands she didn't even see. "Come home with us," she said softly. "Just tonight. Please." Mark looked around the room like he might run. "I don't remember you," he said, voice breaking. "I don't remember loving you." "I remember enough for both of us," Lena said. Time stretched. Then Mark nodded. "Okay," he said. "One night. Outside. Snow fell heavier, muffling the world." Ella watched him follow them to the parking lot, watched him hesitate beside his car. "Mom," Ethan whispered. "What if he leaves?" Lena didn't look back. "Then we'll still know the truth." Mark's headlights turned on. He followed them. And for the first time since the knock on the door 8 years ago, hope didn't feel foolish. It felt real. The blue house on Maple Street hadn't changed. The yellow shutters still needed paint. The porch light still flickered when it was cold. The tree in the front yard had grown taller than the roof. But tonight, it didn't feel like a house. It felt like a memory waiting to be challenged. Mark stood at the curb, snow collecting on his coat, staring at the place like it might reject him if he stepped too close. "I've driven past this house," he said quietly. "So many times. I always thought it looked familiar." Lena's keys shook in her hand. "It was yours." She didn't say his. She unlocked the door, and warm light spilled onto the porch. Cinnamon. Old wood. Home. Mark hesitated. Then he stepped inside. Ella held her breath. The house didn't reject him. It welcomed him. Mark's eyes moved slowly, carefully, like he was afraid to touch anything. The coat rack. The stairs. The framed photos on the wall he didn't remember hanging. "I don't remember this," he said. "But my body feels like it does." Lena nodded. "Trauma steals things. Sometimes it gives pieces back." They sat in the living room surrounded by photo albums Lena had never put away. College photos. Wedding photos. 2 tiny babies wrapped in hospital blankets. Mark traced the edge of one picture with his finger. "We were happy," he said. "I can see that." "You sang to them," Lena said softly. "Every night." "What song?" She swallowed. "About stars." Mark closed his eyes. The melody came out broken at first, then steadier. Ella sobbed. Ethan couldn't breathe. Lena pressed her hands to her mouth, shaking. "You remember," she whispered. "Not with my mind," Mark said, "but something inside me does." Later, Mark sat on the couch under a blanket, staring at the ceiling. "I don't know who I am," he said. "I've been Mark Reynolds for 8 years." "You don't have to decide tonight," Lena replied. "Just stay." Upstairs, Ethan whispered. "What if he leaves tomorrow?" Ella stared at the wall. "Then at least we'll know he was real." Morning came quietly. Mark was in the kitchen, cooking, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. You always cooked when you couldn't sleep, Lena said. Mark froze. I did. Yes. Something flickered behind his eyes. Not memory. Choice. Christmas morning arrived without ceremony. No dramatic music. No sudden clarity. Just pale winter light slipping through the curtains like it wasn't sure it was welcome. Ella woke first. For one terrifying second, she forgot everything. Then she remembered. The theater, the stage, the names screamed into silence, the man who followed them home. She sat up fast. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Her heart started racing. She slid out of bed and padded toward the stairs, every step filled with fear that she already knew the answer. That he'd gone. That the night had been a dream they'd wanted too badly. Then she smelled bacon. She froze. Downstairs, Mark stood at the stove in borrowed pajamas, flipping pancakes like his hands had done this 1,000 times before. The radio played softly. Snow drifted past the kitchen window. He looked up and smiled. Not confidently, not comfortably, but real. You're awake, he said. I couldn't sleep. Ella didn't move. You stayed, she whispered. Mark nodded. I didn't know where else to be. Ethan appeared beside her, eyes wide. You're really here. Mark swallowed. For now. Lena stood in the doorway, watching him. Her hair was damp, her face bare, vulnerable in a way it hadn't been in years. You always cooked when you couldn't sleep, she said quietly. Mark paused, spatula hovering midair. I don't remember that. I know, she said. But you did. Something passed between them. Not memory, but recognition. Like two people standing on opposite sides of a river, realizing they were looking at the same place. They ate breakfast together. For people around a table that had only held 3 for 8 years. It wasn't perfect. Mark didn't know where the plates went. He reached for things that weren't there. He apologized too much. Lena watched him constantly, afraid that if she looked away, he might vanish. Later that day, Mark asked them to come with him. My mother, he said. The woman who took me in. She wants to meet you. The house was loud, overwhelming, full of people who loved him in a different life. When his mother saw Lena and the twins, she cried openly. I thought he died alone, she said. Knowing he had you, that matters. There's room, Lena said softly. For all of us. And somehow there was. The weeks that followed weren't easy. Doctors explained the amnesia. Therapists asked careful questions. Paperwork reopened wounds Lena thought she'd buried. Mark didn't suddenly remember. He probably never would. Some days, that hurt more than losing him the first time. But he stayed. He learned instead. He learned Ella caught spiders instead of killing them. He learned Ethan hummed when he concentrated. He learned Lena drank her coffee too sweet and cried during commercials. They rebuilt routines slowly. Sunday breakfasts, movie nights, quiet walks. 1 year later, they sat together in the Riverside Theater again. Mark wasn't on stage. He sat between Lena and the woman who had saved his life. Ella and Ethan pressed against his sides. When the lights dimmed, Mark reached for Lena's hand. I don't remember falling in love with you the first time, he whispered, but falling in love with you again that I feel. Later that night, back in the blue house with yellow shutters, he knelt in front of her. I don't want to choose you because I used to, he said. I want to choose you now. She said yes. Years passed. Life stayed imperfect. Mark still had nightmares. Lena still panicked when he was late. The twins sometimes resented what he couldn't remember. But love stayed. Quiet. Stubborn. Real. One night, Ella, older now, stood in the doorway of the nursery, watching Mark rock a crying baby, humming a song about stars he never remembered learning. Do you ever wish you remembered us as babies? She asked. Mark looked down at the child in his arms, then back at her. Every day, he said honestly. But then I remember I get to know you now. And that's enough. Ella smiled. Because memory or no memory, he was home. And sometimes, healing doesn't mean fixing what was broken. It means choosing to love what remains. If this story is touching something personal for you, if you enjoy stories that feel real, honest, and hopeful, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps these stories keep reaching the people who need them. This story wasn't really about a man who came back without his memories. It was about the people who never stopped loving him. It reminds us that life doesn't always return things the way we lost them. Sometimes, what comes back is different. Sometimes, it's incomplete. And sometimes, it asks us to choose love again anyway. Healing doesn't mean everything gets fixed. It means we learn how to live with the cracks. It means we keep going, even when we're scared. It means we don't give up on people, on hope, or on ourselves. If you're going through something right now, if life feels unfair, unfinished, or heavy, this is your reminder that giving up is never the answer. Some doors don't open the way we expect, but they still open. If this story meant something to you, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future stories like this. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what this story made you feel. Your support helps this channel grow and helps these stories reach the people who need them most.